Graydon House and HarperAudio present The Moonlight Healers, a novel by Elizabeth Becker, performed by Cassandra Campbell and Bailey Carr. For my parents, John and Betsy Jewett, who knew I was a writer before I did. And for the nurses, the healers, the unsung heroes who stand in the light and in the darkness, who carry life and death in their hands. This book is for you. Richmond, Virginia, 2019. 1. Louise. Louise stood in the quiet of the orchard where she'd been born. Around her, the mountains rose against the pink skies. The tree branches were ripe with fruit, the light of 1,000 fireflies glowing beyond them. She knew there was someone up ahead, out of sight, just on the other side of the tree line. She had caught a glimpse of a woman in a long white nightgown, her hands trailing the branches. She tried to follow, but her body wouldn't obey. She was stuck, anchored in place, her legs heavy. From somewhere behind, she heard the distant sound of sirens, muffled, as though she were underwater. She squeezed her eyes shut as the noise grew louder, clearer. When she opened them again, the orchard was gone. She was alone, in the passenger seat of Peter's car, blinking into the bright June sun that streamed through the windshield. Only it wasn't a windshield anymore. The center was gone. All that was left were shards of glass along the edges. Her head throbbed, her thoughts jumbled. She tried to sort through the confusion and find something real. Peter had been in the car. He was driving, she knew that. She clung to the solidity of that fact like a lifeboat. But he hadn't been wearing a seatbelt, despite her chiding. She remembered the van swerving into their lane, Peter's voice shouting her name, a white flash as the airbag exploded, and then only silence. Louise continued to search her memory, moving up from the depths that surrounded her toward the light of the surface, and her stomach twisted as the previous night crashed back on her. The reason she hadn't wanted to open the door for Peter this morning. A bright, moon-drenched sky, the blue-green glow of the pool lights in the backyard of Kyle Tan's house, hundreds of voices, laughter, lukewarm beer in sweaty cans. And Peter. Peter, at the end of the night, standing in front of her, saying the 3 words she used to want to hear more than anything, but years too late for her to be able to believe him. Louise didn't want to open her eyes again. She didn't want to see the empty driver's seat or the broken windshield. She pushed her mind back to the night before. She had been awkward at first at the party, unsure of which circles to join. But then she and Peter took a shot of coconut rum, followed by another. Louise recalled the blooming affection, the rush of nostalgia for people she had barely spoken to over the years, propelling her into conversations and games of flip cup, into one more beer, then another, her desire to leave early receding as the night went on. They had been there for hours when Peter asked her to take a walk, pulling her to the edge of Kyle's backyard, his hand firm around hers. She wasn't sure if he had ever held her hand. If he had, it had been years, since the days of pretend play and tree houses. They were both drunk by then, and they laughed as they stumbled over enormous old magnolia roots that raced across the ground like primordial snakes. The branches were dotted with soft white flowers, their sweet scent hanging in the air, as Peter stopped abruptly and gazed down at her. A preemptive sadness cut through the haze of alcohol. She knew what he was doing. She was leaving in 5 days for New York to attend Summer Start, a 6-week program for incoming freshmen at NYU. This would be their first summer apart, the first summer in years.
Sample complete. Ready to continue?